dual set. 안녕하세요. Noonas podcast. Welcome. Totally nailed it. Welcome back to the Noonas podcast with your hosts Jenny and Ginny. Try to do something new with the introduction. We're totally a rookie group, so we'll eventually nail that down.
Yeah, at least we're not doing it publicly on music award shows or anything, right?
Oh yeah, let's not do that on stage on M Countdown or anything, because that would just be embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, we're totally a rookie group. We haven't had any formal training. We're totally rookies.
Yeah, we're like Shotaro. We get less training, but unlike Shotaro, we he has more talent in footwork than we do.
Easily. Easily.
I tried doing that shuffle thing on Make-A-Wish, and it's not working. I still need to do it. Need more practice.
I still need to start learning the choreo for Make-A-Wish. It's fun, but I'm I am so uncoordinated. I thought I could do Dynamite, and that's been hard too, and that's supposedly easier. So yeah, definitely not a dancer. But anyway, this week is we're gonna just kind of call it K-Popourri. See what I did there? I know I'm a nerd. We're just kind of doing a little quick hit with news, some quick album reviews. Just been kind of a really busy week in terms of news items and stuff. Just even after we stopped recording last week, all of a sudden we just kind of got slammed with a bunch of crazy news in terms of the K-pop world.
Yeah, I know. I think we're for this episode we're going to be professional news, professional K-pop news headlines.
Yeah, we were not at the level of Dispatch yet, but
we're gonna stalk celebrities and just take pictures with our high-tech cameras.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get on that level either, because Dispatch has done some shady stuff in the past. For those of you wondering, Dispatch is basically the TMZ of the K-pop world.
Yeah,
not as
pretty much
creepy. Well, maybe slightly.
But they're really good in a bad way on taking a lot of good shots of idols. Not in a good way, man. Yeah, not in a good way. Just really have high tech technology.
Yeah, some of the photos that have come from Dispatch, I'm not gonna lie, are almost photo card worthy, but it's almost in the ways that they get them sometimes. I mean, thankfully, sometimes I've seen them actually do photo shoots. I've seen them they remember them doing a photo shoot with BTS back in. I think it was back in 2018 when they were here for the BBMAs, and they're in Vegas, and they just did a photo shoot, and it's a really cool looking photo shoot.
Yeah, I'm just surprised how many groups would still accept them doing photo shoots by Dispatch. There's some good photos, but I'm not sure how they know what they do in the background doing shady shit.
Yeah, they're almost to Sasang levels of creepy, which I mean. And for those of you, Sasangs are basically the stalkers of K-pop. They're basically horrible people, and that's a whole episode. We probably could get into a whole discussion, because there's just been horror stories about Sasangs and just how they have basically ruined the daily everyday lives of idols. So that's kind of sad, but.
This pretty much we watched the anime of we pretty much watched the anime movie of Perfect Blue, and that's pretty much Sasangs in a nutshell.
Ooh, that's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, just watch Perfect Blue. You'll get an idea of what they have to deal with. But I don't know. Let's see, because we had 17's new album come out this week in terms of news, and news and albums. That was a big release out of our radars this week, as well as a new group that just debuted that has a very special twist to it. Just gonna leave it at that, kind of leave you guys hanging. As well as some music show news, which we'll kind of get into, I think how music shows are done in Korea. As well as some military news, which
we'll explain
we'll explain too when we get to it. But I guess let's just get started right away. And get into 17's special mini album entitled Semicolon. I think it's literally just the semicolon, but for the title of the album. But
don't know the significance for that, but I'm pretty sure you would figure it out, Jenny.
It's kind of interesting. So I've actually talked to a couple of my friends who are also Carrots. Carrots are the fandom of 17, which I guess I'm kind of a Carrot. I'm not like super hardcore like I am like Army or 18.
Yeah, my sister's a Carrot. I wish I could bring her along for this episode, but yeah, she's probably busy.
That's all right. Well, hopefully next time, hopefully eventually we can get people coming on and, with groups that they stand and stuff. That would be fun, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's exciting.
Maybe on a bigger album. But yeah, this was a mini album. It was only 6 songs long. On Semicolon, and their title song "Home Run" just came out on Monday with a really fun music video. I think
it's really jazzy.
It is very jazzy. Like you're thinking, like almost like I kind of had like back in the late 90s, when we had that big like swing dance jazz, like kind of like
it takes back to like the roaring 20s vibes.
Yeah,
and a bit of the 90s flair too, with like the musicals and all that.
It's a fun jazzy song. Like a Home Run, I honestly really, really liked off the bat. It's a fun, upbeat song. It's super jazzy. The styling that they did in the music video, super harkens back to that, 30s, 40s, 50s era kind of like style, with like the old theaters and then like the clothing, also like because it also had some like heist elements to it too. It's just a very fun music video overall. And it's hard to make it very vintage. It's also hard to make it, and hard to have everybody stand out because 17 is a group of 13 members.
Yeah. So, like maybe like before NCT is just like maybe 17 like with 13 members, and that's pretty much big for like a K-pop group.
Yeah, although there's been now a few K-pop groups that have been, experimenting with like double-digit members.
Yeah. EXO used to do that.
EXO back in the day. We have Treasure now too. I think has 13 members. The new group that just debuted under YG, I think they have 13 members as well, if I remember correctly. I just remember watching Boy, and I'm like, oh my god, how many of them? How many are you? Like I can't keep this all straight. Also, some of these kids are super young, and I'm gonna get put on an internet watch list because I'm watching kids from 2003, 4, 5. I'm like, nope, I'm not getting on a watch list.
Yeah. Like every time I think of someone cute, I would just like look at their birthdays. Like, okay, are they like late 90s or maybe like just 2000s? Like, okay.
I know. I thought I was drawing the line at 2000s, and now like there's some 01 idols, and I'm like, oh, like I can't. But you're so cute. Yeah,
it's hard. Cute. Like I would like treat them like they're like baby brothers or whatever. Like, oh, look at you guys.
Yeah, it's like you're so adorable. That's how I feel about IN. That's how I feel about IN and Stray Kids. Like he's so cute. But anyway. Back to 17, tangent here. But yeah, we had the album, and I think what's so cool about this album that they just came out with was they actually broke down 4 of their songs into units, which I haven't even seen them do on their albums. I think, and quote me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong here, because yeah, it's really fun, like just to see them like break down into subunits, because I always like
each of them would get their shine too, like get their distributions.
Well, also because it's also hard too. Like I said, there's 13 members in 17, and it's really hard sometimes for like some of the members to shine through. I think they do a really good job about balancing people's strengths in 17. Like there's a lot of different vocal colors throughout the group, like between the rappers and the vocal line. Yeah, they're really.
Because I heard like they have like their own meme group. That's what Toby.
Big sounds too. They're the crackheads. Toshi, Sungwon, and DK are like basically like the 3 biggest crackheads in the whole group. And if you watch any of their online variety show, they have a variety show that they do every week on YouTube. Yeah, those 3 are super absolute crackheads and will absolutely tease the hell out of each other and other members of the group, and it's hilarious.
I see. I still need to learn like be more familiar with 17 as well. So I just need some more like studying time.
Yeah, it's taken me a while to to obviously break down, get who the members, and then for me, it's like once I know the members and I start trying to matching up voices with members.
Yeah. Like for me, I just I got used to like the NCT members, like all of them. Like, oh, finally, 23 members, and like I finally recognize like them and their names.
Yep, pretty much. That's how it goes. Like, and I thought if memorizing 7 or 8 was bad, then you tried memorizing 13 or 23, and then you're like, oh, right. I'm become a master at this. So anyway, so actually, yeah, so it broke down. So the tracks 2 through 5 on the album started breaking down into subunits. So you had 3 units of 3 and then 1 unit of 4 to break down into the groups. And I think they broke them down. Yeah, I think they broke them down by age. So they broke them down by the years that they're born. So, like, I think it's I'm trying to think. It's like the 1994, what is it? I can't remember their age lines right now off the top of my head. I know because, like, I think 94, 95, 96, 97 are the years for 17. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still very much a baby carrot here. But yeah, they broke it down into lines based on the year they were born, which I think is a kind of a clever way because it kind of breaks up what they've already been kind of designated at. Because usually when you first get into 17, they're broken into 3 different groups. You have the rappers, you have the vocal line, and you also have the dance group too that are more focused on like dancing, and they're all really good dancers too. So this time you kind of have them all kind of mixed up together. Like you have some of the rappers with the vocalists and the dancers. So like, and even the dancers all have great vocals too. I think one of my favorite members of 17, which is the 8, who's Chinese, is technically part of the dance line, but has really good vocals too.
Oh.
Yeah, I just really dug the album. The album itself is just very jazzy and upbeat.
Yeah, I think it's like a good mix of like the traditional jazz and like a bit of like a modern smooth jazz as well.
Yeah, and I was not expecting jazz, honestly, from a K-pop group, but
yeah, I mean, I've heard like they have done like a bit of a jazzy flair in some of their songs. I think like from Aju Nice, I had like a bit of like trumpet sounds, and as well as like the Chuck, which is my underrated favorite song from like 2017.
Oh, that's an early underrated favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've kind of always had like a bit of like a more jazzier tune to them. Like sometimes more hidden. This is more in your face, but I still kind of like it in your face. Also, to note on this album too. So one of the members of the group, Woozy, is, I think, honestly, like the main producer. He does a lot of the production, music producing of the group, much like And I love this. What I love about like some of these groups that have like a lot of hands-on producing now. That seems to be becoming, thankfully, the norm in K-pop, or becoming a more welcome thing. Because it used to be a lot of it was shipped out and like in-house producers and stuff, and a lot of the idols were just performing. Now a lot of times there's a lot of groups who are actually hands-on into the production of it. And I think looking at the album liner notes here, I believe Woozy had a hand in all 6 tracks. Yes, he did. In terms of the lyrics and stuff. And with that, actually, he became the youngest person on the Korean music credits association to have 100 song credits to his name.
Yeah, that is just really awesome to hear, man. I know I've heard, I don't know if it's the same guy, Muji, doing this, but I know one of the members is really into directing the choreography and like how it should be filmed. I don't know if it's the same person.
I don't think that's Muji,
and
I can't remember who that is at the top of my head, but I know like they seriously 17 puts a lot of effort into like creating and crafting their own image, and that I think makes them really endearing in a way, and that's why they're kind of they're really they've really kind of popped on my radar, and they're just a really fun group to watch and just kind of be entertained with. They're very entertaining overall. I mean, a couple of the members are quite a bit on variety shows. Mingyu and Seungkwan are usually like variety show like staples. Like Seungkwan has a future, I think, hosting or being on a variety show after his idol years, because he's an entertainer.
I can see some like idols that I'm familiar with, like, and like I tell like they could really be good like entertainers in the future. They could be really good hosts in some shows that they have. Like I know with Hey-chan, all I could think of is like he has like this Heechul vibe. So it's like if you don't know Heechul, he's a member of like Super Junior, but now he's just doing a lot of like variety shows. And I think that like he's really good at doing that.
Oh, I could, yeah, I now that you say that, I'm like, I can see kind of the Heechul vibes off of Haechan. And Heechul is seriously, like, because he's on a couple of the biggest shows currently the biggest, like, airing variety shows over in Korea, which is, they always change the name of the show. It's either Ask Us Anything or Men on a Mission, because it's actually on Netflix.
And Knowing Brothers as well.
The Knowing Brothers is also a name that it's the same show. They like had 3 different names, like translated to English. It's insane, but yeah, basically Knowing Brothers, which is a huge variety show, as well as he's also on Mom's Diary or My Old Little Son, which basically explores like bachelors, like literally bachelors in Korea. It's kind of fun, and they actually have their moms on the show, like watching them do their day-to-day stuff, and he's been hilarious on that show too. So.
They're like really interactive, like with other like people, and just to have them like the charisma and just have them like have the welcoming vibes into them. I think they really fit into doing like those kinds of shows.
Yeah, and like I said, I see Seungkwan easily. He's already kind of fit that mode, because like a lot of the MCs of shows like know about him, and like they have really good camaraderie with him. Like he's easily pitted to be a really big MC towards the end of his idol career / past it. He's probably gonna easily be on a lot of shows like that we'll probably watch in the future, which I'm okay with because he's hilarious. So. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on the album? What did you think? As I know you're not quite into 17. Deeply.
Yeah, I'm not entirely familiar with the group right now, but from what I've heard from like their previous songs, and then this album is my first time listening to a complete album from them. I really pretty much enjoyed on the first listen the music that they put out or they produce. It's really like even though it's becoming colder these days in my town, it really gives a this really warm spring-like soothing vibes into soothing energy that I would probably listen in during springtime. But yeah, that's like how I could feel about like 17 overall. Like they really have like this such an optimistic, vibrant look and feel into their music. So yeah, I just would give it like a high score on it. It's like a good high score, maybe like a 4 out of 5.
I agree. It's a very solid album from them. Like I said, it's a mini album. It's their second mini album after Hengare, which came out a few months ago, which this is kind of apparently like a bookend to Hengare. So Hengare was like about like youth and stuff, and I dug Left and Right, which was the title track off of that album. That one, it took a while to grow on me. Home Run just hit me right away.
I know. The mini album I just listened to today during work. So I still need to have it savor the music, maybe appreciate it more. But even though I just had to listen to it quickly, I enjoyed how it sounds so far. Yeah, but I'll be able to listen to the 6 tracks again during my spare time.
Yeah, it's a quick listen. It's about, I think, 20 minutes altogether for the whole album. So it's nice. It's a quick, kind of get in, get out. Super quick, super nice bite. Yeah, I'd give it honestly about a 4 out of 5 too in terms of score. It's a really solid continuation of this I guess current era that they're talking about, because like I said, Hungary was talking about youth. This is talking more about kind of growing up, your young adult years. So I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with their future stuff. But I'm excited.
I was about to say, did you know the Home Run? You know what the music sounded like? JYP's Fever.
Oh my god! Now that you say it, it does. It really does.
There's already mashups of those 2 songs together, and they just mashed 100%.
Yeah, now that you say it, because I remember last time. I just remember you showing me Fever beginning of this year. Also, just remember all the JYP artists basically making having cringy reaction videos to Fever. which are hilarious. But yeah, it's very much got that fever vibe. They really are like embracing the jazz over in Korea right now, which is cool.
It kind of has like the feeling like maybe JYP and 17 could like maybe collab in a live show, hopefully. Because
who knows?
I did it with Mama Moo like for last year. So
anything's
they could do it again.
Anything's possible. Technically, their company Pledis is partially owned by Big Hit. That's why 17 was very, very quick to hop onto Weverse. They were like the first group to hop onto Weverse, and then immediately, basically, the members took that as like a giant group chat, and it was kind of hilarious when they first got on Weverse. But it would be interesting. That would be interesting during awards season. Who knows?
Yeah.
Got those awards season.
If JYP performs again, I can't wait to see like the God7 reaction.
We need another reaction of Jackson just with his mouth open, just like, what the heck?
Just like doing like the most exaggerated reactions because it's trying to like I mean, I don't blame him, but Kiss has to like JYP because that's his dad, his company dad.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was still one of the funniest things that happened last year during awards season. That reaction.
That reaction came out of nowhere, and plus his reasons, it's kind of seems off. It's like, what? Do you think they're surprised because he was wearing the plastic pants again? But like, I think there's more to it.
I think there's more than the plastic pants. The plastic pants are definitely haunting to a lot of JYP artists.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, we'll go away from this album review to our next album review. So, in this time we're actually reviewing the debut album of a new group that just debuted last Thursday or last Friday that album came out. I can't remember now.
I don't remember either. I'm pretty sure. Let me just check.
I think it was on Thursday because they tend to have a lot of groups debut on a Thursday because that's like when the first because then you get all the weekend music shows hit at that point. So I think that's why a lot of groups debut on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But we had a new girl group actually debut over in Korea called Blackswan.
And the BTS song or the movie?
Not referencing the movie or the BTS song, which again, one of my favorite songs. But a whole new group completely. And I guess the catch on this one is that it actually has the first Black K-pop idol debuting in the forefront. And I listened to the album today. I listened to Blackswan's album today, and I really dug it. It's very clubby in a way.
Oh.
I listened to the whole thing, and it's very much like club music. Like, it's stuff I could really get down to in the club. Like, it has really good upbeat tempos. And like, for a debut, like, they had a lot of songs. Like, they had almost a full album for a debut. Usually when groups debut, they only have 3, 4, 5 songs. They usually have a mini album.
Yeah, that just goes to show how much faith and confidence they have in this new group, and also it came from a really small company called what is it called? Danol Entertainment.
It's DR. Yeah, it's DR Entertainment.
DR Entertainment. Yeah. Yeah. It's just I'm just just as a group in general, apart from their music, it's I'm happy the representation that they're putting out it just goes to show how you don't have to be a full-fledged Asian, either Korean, Japanese, or Korean. I'm just really interested to see how they would go with two of their members. One of them came from Senegal. Her name is Fatou. And I love how they put her in the forefront in the Blackswan Tonight debut video. They always give her a lot of camera shots, and she's a pretty a really beautiful beautiful idol. The way how they made her as it's my sister said she could have been a model, but just like Lucas, they in the good thing that they landed into the K-pop industry. And once her rappers hit, that blew me away. Oh shoot, it got me really hyped. And hopefully they give more, like they give more respect and give more like more shine on her, but also like also the members as well. There's also like a Brazilian Japanese member named Leia, and I'm just really amazed and really how do you say this, intrigued and like on them like recruiting like these other people outside of like the Asian demographics. So
yeah. And I'm actually just quickly looking on their Wikipedia page. This is how professional we are. Just quickly looking on their Wikipedia page, and apparently, so the group used to be 3 of the members of the group, outside of Fatu and Judy, used to be actually Fatu is the second Black K-pop idol. I think I don't know who the first one is, but Fatu I think is really poised to like be, because I think her rap in Tonight is really solid, and she actually has some very solid raps throughout the album.
Yeah,
like she's really, really good.
She gives me a lot of like those Grace Jones vibes from her. Like even her look, it's like I was thinking, man, Grace Jones is like Grace Jones like in this modern age.
Mm-hmm. She has that like grace and like that sharpness to her, and it's really stunning.
Tall,
like
slender, yeah,
go watch Tonight. It's a really good I think it's a really good dance hall kind of track. That's just a really it's a club banger. It really is a club banger. But apparently, so Blackswan actually has is formerly a couple members of a group called Rania. That's why the album is called Goodbye Rania, because
Goodbye Rania.
Yeah, which I think is kind of hilarious. So the album actually has some remixes of Rania's old songs, including the new members Judy and Fatu on the remixes, and they're again still kind of feeding with that dance hall kind of clubby vibe with them. And yeah, I mean, it's a 5-member group, so it's a smaller group, but I kind of like the smaller girl groups in a way, because like they really allowed the members then to shine and just show what they can do on stage in terms of the choreography and stuff. And I have yet to see them perform on a music show. I hope they get to perform on a music show, because I'd love to see what they could do on a stage.
Yeah. It's kind of amusing to me, like how I don't know if when Rania debuted before, it was like 2013. It
was 2011. Well, because it's weird. So you had Rania in 2011, and then it actually was BP Rania from 2016 to 18, and then it was Rania again from 2018 to 2020. So they kind of like reforming themselves every time, and now they're just completely this new group, 3 of the members from Rania, and then these 2 new members, and there's just Blackswan.
Yeah, so I'm just really curious to see if like I don't know if they're just experimenting the lineup, because if if that doesn't work out, like I wonder if they're gonna like regroup and make another like unit.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of idol groups I think have done this before to kind of keep it going, because especially since a lot of idols do have contracts and they want to perform and they want to continue with their stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to see, I think, how much if they'll grab, whether it's, I don't know if they'll grab a Korean audience, but they might be one of those groups that catches an international audience.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of groups now that are not as big in Korea as they are overseas. And that's still been very sustaining enough for them to keep going. So that's going to be interesting to see if maybe they'll catch an international audience, especially with, having such a diverse lineup.
That's true. Yeah, I get to see like people like making headlines about like this news, because it's like I think it's the first time for them to like include a Black member in a K-pop group.
They said this is the second, according to so they are they are gonna it's the second Black K-pop idol, but hopefully this one will take off.
Yeah, hopefully. I really hope.
And considering there's a couple members who are, I guess veterans, quote unquote veterans in the scene, it might help.
Yeah.
So,
but they're very young too. Yeah, like I was like, wait, they came out before in 2011, but like they're in their 20s still, like they're mid-20s.
They might have debuted later. I mean, the first group of Rania debuted in 2011, and there was almost like a whole bunch of former members of Rania. So like, I think they were kind of going in and out, like, and that happens occasionally with groups. Occasionally, like, members just come and go. So it's hard to almost establish a bias at that point, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes and ears on them and just see where they go from here. And yeah, I say check them out. If you're really into like more club music, definitely check out Tonight. It is a club banger. So
yeah, it's kind of like it kind of has like the more of a mature like women aesthetic, right? Because like girl groups have like either the more cutesy or like the punkish girl type. So like this one's like more like for the older women, but I think a lot of people would come to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a more mature sound than you get with a lot of the cutesy girl group, especially with girl group debuts, because this came out full on straight, almost like sexy mature in a way. Like it was still sexy, but in a tasteful, more like adult way instead of being, like super young girl kind of sexy.
Yeah, like a bit of like a cabaret type of like thing. Cabaret or like those like burlesque shows.
Yeah, definitely had that vibe in Tonight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. I'm hoping for them to have hoping to see them hopefully established somewhere within the K-pop world. But all we can do is wait and see and give our support when we can. So
yeah. So like, to close this out, Blackswan Hwaiting.
Yes, Blackswan Hwaiting. But yeah, considering we were just actually talking about music shows, let's actually go into some music show news. So, a lot of times when Korean acts perform, they have music shows, and I swear there has to be a music show almost every night of the week in Korea. Yeah. I remember this from 80s because, like, I swear to God, they performed Inception so many times, and I probably was getting sick of Inception, which actually can't get sick of Inception. It's an amazing song. They just have different outfits every time, but like they were nearly performing it almost every night of the week. It was like 5 out of the 7 days. So basically, music shows are like the way a lot of the idols get to perform their songs. Usually there'll be audiences and stuff. Obviously, with COVID, really hasn't been audiences allowed into the show, so they've been kind of performing to semi-empty stages and stuff right now. I mean, they have the production crew and stuff in there right now, but it's mostly just been them performing on stage and then getting to see it at home on the TV. But a lot of the times before the COVID times, a lot of groups would have give fans opportunities that are part of the fan clubs to come and watch them perform when they're performing on the music show. So it was another way for fans to get to see their idols in a more close stage that is like a concert. Because most of the time they're only performing one song, maybe two if they just had a comeback. A lot of times, like the bigger groups will usually get like 2 songs to perform. They'll usually perform like their main song and then like a B-side from their latest album. And so, yeah, we have a whole bunch. Like I think the ones are usually during the weekend. You have, I guess Countdown's a big one. That's on, I'm trying to think which channel it's on. It's on Mnet, and that's usually a lot of times, a lot of shows. There's a lot of like they debut of idols because it's on Thursday night, and a lot of times, when idol groups debut, I think a lot of times they debut on Thursdays. So that was like the first stage you'll get, or it's like the first part of the weekend, and then you have Show Music Core, which is on. Oh, I'm going to screw this up. I think Music Core is on MBC, on Busan Broadcasting Station or Broadcasting Corporation.
I still need to get used to the award shows and the many award shows they have. Countdown and
they have I know the big ones are like M Countdown, Show Music Core, Inki.io. I know is a big one on Sunday afternoons. Like if you win Music Core and Inki.io, like those are like 2 of the most long running shows, and like those are huge awards to win. And a lot of times I think those ones actually penalize groups that are performing internationally, which is weird. Like they'll penalize groups that are getting international play. Like they'll just only purely look at the Korean charts. They won't look at the international stuff. Like M Countdown and like some of the other ones will actually take into account like international voting. So a lot of the international fans will vote on for those shows because they'll take votes from watching the video on YouTube, just interactions. There's a lot of, I don't even know how the math all works out with these, but there's some kind of math involved with it in terms of these idols winning. So basically there's almost a competition every week where like the top songs of the week will compete and then they'll win the show. And a lot of times, if it's a really big group like BTS, I know this was back in Boy With Love days. So you're talking early 2019. I know they set a record. They had won like 21 music award shows. So within like the couple of weeks, and like after like 2 weeks, they weren't performing anymore, and they were winning music shows. Like they were still getting awards, and they weren't even there anymore. So
that's why I kind of feel like I kind of like have like my own criticisms about those music shows because they are highly competitive, and it's a tiny bit unfair to like either like the smaller groups, like smaller known groups, or maybe even the solo artists to be competing with like really well-known people like BTS. It's just I know with the fans, like they have like a lot of play into their like voting into their wanting their artists to win, but it's it just makes me feel bad for like some of the groups like who like work so hard and then they don't really get enough merit or like credit into like to their work. So
which is what brings us to this really big news this week. So this week, we had a couple groups actually finally get their first music award show wins. The first was this week actually came from Pentagon, which had their recent comeback with Daisy, which I know we haven't talked I haven't talked about Pentagon's album on here, but it's a very solid album. It almost has a darker tinge to it. Daisy's a really beautifully done song. The video for it is just amazing, and it's kind of darkish in a way, but I don't want to say it's super dark. But
I think it can continue on from like their previous albums or previous works. Like I think I enjoyed Daisy. I think I prefer like Dr. Baby some more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it has like a lot of like hard edge into like their gothic asylum look into their video.
Yeah, they tend to have a little bit of a darker tinge to their videos, especially their videos as of late. So Daisy actually won Pentagon's first ever music awards show on the show back on the 20th. So beating out it was actually kind of interesting because they beat out Weekly and Weke Manke, so they weren't going against like super huge groups, but still, I mean, Pentagon's been around since 2015 or 16. They've been around for quite a few years and only now just got their first music award show win. So seriously, big congratulations to them to finally actually get a win.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like they finally got their award, I guess, and then finally got
credit to do. So I know their universes, which universe is their fandom. Their universes are super, super, super happy about that. I have a couple friends who are universes, and they were super happy to see them finally get their win. I think they've got more clout to them now after competing on Road to Kingdom, because they were competing on Road to Kingdom earlier this year, and that gave them, I think, some more publicity to the Korean audience. So I think that helped a little bit.
Yeah, and they won that.
The boys won, actually. The boys won, which the boys is also a really good group, a good Gen 4 group. Pentagon's more of like a Gen 3, but basically Road to Kingdom was a show that they aired earlier this year that was it was a competition between some of the K-pop groups that haven't quite made it big yet, but like they're like there, but they're not like super big. And eventually
like B-list,
almost like B-list groups. Still really good groups. Like I know One Us was on there. The boys, Pentagon, ONF I think was on there too. There were a bunch of different groups that are on there. All really good groups. And it was a chance, and the winning group was actually going to go compete on Kingdom, which they were supposed to supposedly slate. And there was rumors. I'm trying to think of like who was going to compete on Kingdom. I think there were rumors like ATEEZ, Tomorrow by Together, Stray Kids, like really big groups on Kingdom. But they haven't started filming that yet because of COVID, because it just wasn't fair to really do it without an audience. So I think they're waiting until after COVID to do Kingdom. So we'll wait and see. I know there's rumors on who's actually competing in Kingdom, but that's further down the road, hopefully once we're past COVID. But then the other big news this week was NCT U finally, after so many years, NCT U as a unit finally got their first and their second wins as a group, as a unit, I should say, because they've kind of taken it as anytime anybody in NCT wins, it's a win for the whole entire group, all 23 of them. Even though previously to this, I know 127 had quite a few wins, and so did Dream, although we were looking at it and we're like, they really haven't won a ton considering like how popular they are.
Yeah, how popular they're getting, and like and then like they're still like an up and coming group, but I think they're getting like to become like a recognizable group like for international grounds. It's like I think I saw like this one article where they call them like the next BTS, which kind of pissed off some of like the NCTs because it's kind of calling the Rolling Stones like the next Beatles at that time.
Like I hate when they do that. It's like every group is their own like thing. Like stop doing that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I know means that they do that just like to draw buzz and sell magazine stuff. I hate it. I really freaking hate it. Like every group is its own. Every group is its own thing. Like their own fan and their own universe.
Not everything is like BTS. Everything is a Gangnam style.
There's a lot of different diverse groups out here. Appreciate them for what they are. But we had NCT U finally went for Make a Wish, which I've actually watched a couple of the stages. I haven't watched today's stage that aired with Show Champion. Show Champion they won, and then it was which was their first win, which was yesterday. Which we are recording on a Thursday, would have been Wednesday, and then today or this morning, so Thursday, technically overnight in Korea, they also won their second show win on M Countdown, which that one surprised me because I think that one beat out Blackpink. That was super surprising.
Against like them pitting against Lovesick Girls, because I know like people are recognize Blackpink more, and as well as that song, and I think they're still on their high with like listening to the album from Blackpink. But I am so impressed that the entity is able to pull through and then manage to get their win against Blackpink. So it's just like, kudos to NCT. And plus, I think I've enjoyed like their Resonance, Renaissance Resonance album more.
Well, it's also Renaissance in a way for that because
it is. It is. I was about to say like the Renaissance.
It's really kind of I think brought them to the forefront, which is. Again, it's fantastic. Like they deserve it because they put in a lot of hard work, and it's a very fun, unique sound that they have. I mean, it's very different and it's not for everybody. I know this. I have friends who are, I won't say they're SM haters, but they don't really like a lot of what SM does, and they're not really super big into NCT, but they're kind of like giving it a second look now with this new album. So, which I'm impressed. So. Yeah, I mean, and the fact of the matter is they beat Blackpink, who also just had their documentary come out. If you haven't listened to it already, me and Ginny actually guest starred on the Afternoon Tune on YouTube to review the Blackpink documentary. If you want to go check that out, give a shout out to the Afternoon Tune.
Yep.
So there's a lot of buzz obviously with that. And I know some people have actually had friends who they've told them about the Blackpink documentary. They watched it and now are interested in K-pop. So it is actually kind of interesting leading people into K-pop. But you think there's a lot of buzz around Blackpink right now, especially overseas here. But to see NCT U actually come out with a win against a really big group makes me feel like, hey, we're doing something right here. And maybe citizens are finally getting their say.
I'm just really happy, and to think that that's like Shotaro, he's like the new member of the group, and that's like he just debuted just of now, and then like already like winning big with his with NCT. Like it's just really, I think it's probably surreal for him to experience it, but I'm so glad like he's having a good time, like based on like watching him perform at the shows. Like he looks so happy.
I still need to watch the encore stages. So actually, the kind of the fun thing too with these music shows, when they're on performing, they will do encore stages, which a lot of the times are just basically the group fucking around on stage with their song. There's some iconic BTS encore stages of them just completely fucking around. I think one of my favorites is with Boy With Love. They start singing it like a musical. And it's just them just
like a monotone.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like a lot of times they'll just kind of fool around and just kind of goof off on stage when they're performing. And so, because it's not really serious, it's just like the encore to lead the show out before, the show ends. So, but they've also, I think, become a really big part of like the fandom. Like a lot of fans find them endearing. So I still have to go watch those. I still need to go watch a few more stages of Make-A-Wish because I'm going to attempt that choreography one day. Probably horribly.
Yeah, I think we all do.
It's a fun choreography. I will not lie. It is super, super fun. So I guess we're going to go from happy news to, I guess, a little more bittersweet news. Kind of going back to Pentagon a little bit. So, I mean, again, we're happy Pentagon got their first win. Daisy has been doing very, very well in terms of the fans really loving the album. And unfortunately, on some sad news, one of the members of Pentagon is going to be going into the military very, very soon. For those not in the know in Korea, it's kind of one of the first things I feel like people learn when they talk about it, because they've been bringing this up a lot now because of BTS. But it is required for all men born in Korea to serve in the military for 18 months, minimum 18 months. There are a couple branches in the military where I think they have to serve for a full 2 years. And I can't remember off the top of my head which branches they are, but a lot of times, a lot of the idols will get like more of the cushier jobs. I mean, there's actually quite a few cushier jobs, I think, in terms of the military. I think some of the really, really cushy ones do take 2 years. Like, I think if they're like working with like the police force or something, I think that's more 2 years. But yeah, Pentagon's leader, Hui, is actually going to enlist in the military in early December, if I remember correctly. They basically, like, they announced he was going to the military, and then the next day Pentagon won their first music awards show. So I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but
yeah, I don't want to like say like that. I think they just gave it to Pentagon just to have like a pity award.
I don't think so, because the mask will checked out. But yeah, he's gonna be, according to, and this is from Snoopy, which is kind of where I get all my K-pop news. Cube Entertainment stated that Pentagon Hui will be enlisting at the training center on December 3rd. And he's going to serve as a public service worker. So that's going to be his position when he serves in the military. And so basically he has the whole month of November, I think basically he's going to get all the promotions done for Daisy and then probably go do his military time.
Just like take off from there.
Which a lot of idols, I think, do. They a lot of times will try to like, they'll go super close like after their times like with promotions.
It could be like it could be like an emotional thing, like when fans know like they're be close to like close to the age of like them enlisting, and they have like really like emotional and like really heartfelt moments with like those members. Like I know with Suho back then when he like doing like his last concerts with EXO, and then like he's just doing like this really big sincere speech, like how like how much like he learned through all this time, and then like how like it's like breaking down like his memories, like they started like crying. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, I haven't like been like as much intimate as some of the groups, but I can imagine like yeah, you're gonna like miss a lot of like those people, as you know, and it'll be different if they continue to promote without
because a lot of groups will continue promoting, because again, a lot of groups are still under contract, so they'll still do a lot of promotions. But that's also the time when a lot of groups will start breaking off into subunits and start exploring other things, like we've seen with EXO, because EXO has actually currently has 3 members in the military, right? Because you have Jimun, Dio, and Suho, right?
It's Human, Dio. Well, they're gonna be almost done. Suho, and he's just starting out, and then Chen.
That was the other big news, was that Chen from EXO is enlisting, and he's enlisting, actually will be enlisting on the 26th, so on Monday.
It was kind of like a bit of a surprise because I didn't really expect, because they didn't really prepare that much with Chen, but it just came out of the blue. And right after he dropped his solo song of Hello.
I was like,
goodbye.
Hello, goodbye. Well, also too interesting with Chen is that well, he kind of almost, I don't want to call it a controversy, because this was K-netizens tend to blow things out of proportion. It was a huge thing earlier this year because Chen got married and had a kid immediately. Obviously had a kid out of wedlock, but then got married to his now wife, who's non-idol wife. That's all I'll say, is non-idol, non-famous wife. So she wants to stay out of the public, which totally understand. There's a lot of entertainers who do have non-famous spouses that usually, and a lot of times people will respect that. Having that separation. Mostly. We'll see, because there's some EXOs that are insane. And I know they kind of went insane off of Chen when they found out he was getting married, and had a kid. So, and that's an interesting thing too, is because his kid is super, super young. I think barely 6 or 7 months old at this time, and now dad's going off to the military for 18 months. So I mean, they get some time of visitation and stuff that I know of. I think they get some time to visit off of during the time, but it's not a lot, but it's still, you're missing out on a lot of big moments, I think, and you're
like a toddler year,
because the little one will be about 2 by the time dad's out of the military. So 2 international age, 3 Korean age. That's a whole discussion for another day. Korean age. But I still don't get the math on that. But yeah, it's that one really caught me off guard in terms of military news, because I mean, we've been seeing a lot of idols that we know more about, because they're more the groups we follow that are starting to get closer to that age of having to enlist or are enlisting. EXO has been promoting as basically like a subunit for the most part, or subunits, I should say.
Yeah.
As of late, I mean, because you have Bakun and
subunits and solo acts.
Yeah, we had that with act with Obsession last year, which I still really dug Obsession with as a 6-member group. That was a really fun comeback. And then you also have Bakun and Kai doing a lot of stuff with Super M right now, although I think they're going to be getting close to enlistment age too, I would think. I mean, Chen's younger. Chen's the second youngest member of EXO.
He's the middle child of the 9 members.
He's the middle child.
He's the middle child, and he's already a father. and setting up to the military. So
I know it was confusing, because I thought it'd be somebody a little bit older, but yeah, I mean, Chen's right smack dab in the middle of the age range.
Yeah, also and Dio, who was the 3rd youngest, but he enlisted her.
I wonder if Dio enlisted, because I feel like he's going to be doing more acting once he's out of the military. My gut says he's going to be doing more acting, because he's actually a really, really good actor. If you go watch what is that drama? I know he was in It's Okay, That's Fine. I can't remember the name of it. Okay. Really good drama. He's been in a few, and I have a feeling he's going to be having a comeback drama when he.
Yeah, I know he's already casted for some movies too. So he's already busy. That was big on the news, so I keep on seeing that all over my social media.
Yeah, I mean, gotta love it. There's just especially when idols start getting towards their more twilight years of them performing on stage, but then there's still a lot of opportunities for them afterwards, whether they're going into production, whether they're going into acting, television. There's still a lot of former idols who are still quite out there and quite doing their thing. So yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of a sour note to end the show on this week, but I think we've rambled on enough. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Chen goes in on Monday. I'm assuming this weekend we're going to start getting the buzz cut pictures. We're all going to start crying. Or at least you and we're going to start crying.
Yeah, and they're all rubbing their heads. It's rubbing their heads.
I almost did that with J-Steph when J-Steph went into the military from Card. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of cried because he's the only member who's gonna be going into the military because BM is from LA, so he doesn't have to go in.
America. Sorry, I'm kind of laughed at that. Like, but you're gonna be stuck with those girls.
It's almost like I don't know who should be more afraid of, BM or the girls teasing on BM. I really don't know.
I think it's the girls because like every time he annoys them, and then they have like this really deadly look, like kill you.
It's very much a brother-sister relationship in that group, and it's kind of hilarious.
It was his birthday. It was his birthday a couple of days ago. So happy birthday,
happy birthday to the Big Titty Committee. And to BM. Also, if you want to, he has a couple podcasts on Dive Network that he does. He's hilarious.
I know.
He's so funny. Guy. He's freaking hilarious. Especially his Instagram lives are hilarious too. But I guess with that note, we're gonna call it another week in the K-pop world. I mean, next week is gonna be huge. We have Tomorrow by Together's new album, which I haven't listened to. I know they dropped the preview today. I have not listened to it yet. That I don't know if I'm going to listen to it or not because I kind of want to be surprised by the album. But you have them. You also have Twice's mini album coming back, which they're going to be promoting. They're going to be promoting as an 8-member group because one of the members is taking a break because she had some anxiety issues.
Oh, I see. Was it
Yeah, it was Jonghyun. Yeah, she is not going to be promoting with the group because she had some anxiety issues that were popping up. And so SM is letting her, or not SM, excuse me, JYP. I'm confusing my groups now. She is going to be taking a break from promotion. So they're going to promote as 8-member group and we'll go from there and they'll go from there. So it'll be interesting to see how it's going to be with promotion starting next week because I mean obviously the video will have all 9 of them in there and then
I'm just wondering like in the video was it going to be like just the 8 of them and then 8 in the album
they have previously recorded. I think it's all 9. I still need to go watch the previews. I think it's all 9 of them, but obviously with the stages and stuff it'll just be the 8 of them and they'll be the 8 of them promoting. So Jong Young's going to be taking a break from their comeback. So she's just she had some health issues and she just needs to take a break, which I do appreciate. A lot of groups now at least letting idols take breaks when they need to. That used to really not be the thing, but I think a lot of them now are understanding the mental health of it and stuff, thankfully, or starting to.
Yeah, and I really hope I really hope they will progress with being considerate of people's mental health and they provide more treatment and some comfort and have some good therapy sessions because I know JYP's been building some of those programs for his company.
Yeah, they've been really good about trying to keep it very, very good for their members. So especially because I know a lot of them do tend to try to promote good mental health. I go again to Bang Chan from Stray Kids because he's really a big proponent of good mental health. But so we'll see how next week's comebacks go. I know I'm very interested in seeing comeback stages and just seeing their videos and listening to the albums in full and seeing what we're going to get. So another fun-filled packed week. Also there's probably more breaking K-pop news. There always is. So I think with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off with a Hwaiting and call it a week. So we'll see you guys next week. Hwaiting!
See you. Hwaiting!